All right, welcome back to the channel. We've got something a little unorthodox we're doing tonight. We're going to just have a discussion. So,
Well, husband and wife chat.
yeah, So, something that you've probably seen on some of our other videos is Rika's been doing the keto diet and or lifestyle for a while now. How long has it been?
Since June of last year.
Okay.
So,
And kind of, let's tell everybody why you decided to go with that.
well, I guess it first started. Well, let me talk about like when I first heard about it. Remember, we were at Big Daddy's funeral, and my dad had actually lost a ton of weight. And my dad's never been like overweight, but he's always had kind of a belly on him. And then we hadn't seen him in quite a few months, and all of a sudden he's just svelte, like super lean. And he also, at the reception after the funeral, we're all eating, cornbread and rice and this and that, and he's just not eating at all. And we're like, what? So what diet are you on? And he didn't say keto by name. He just described that, it's high fat, moderate protein, very low carb. And he's like, oh, I'll just, and you're not going to eat? It's like, no, I'm going to go home. I have a steak and an avocado waiting for me at home for dinner. It's like, isn't this driving you crazy, watching us all eat this food? And he's like, no, not at all. I don't feel hunger pains or anything like that. I'm just, I'm perfectly satisfied, and I'll wait till I get back home. So fast forward a little bit, and I think it was on the Heidi and Frank show. They had a guest on, and I can't remember his name, but he was talking about this diet that sounded exactly like how my dad was explaining it. And he said the keto diet. So I asked my dad, I said, is that what you're doing? And he's like, yeah, it's called keto, short for ketogenic diet. So I decided to give it a try because I've always been a crazy, like, kind of super obsessed with my weight, and to the point where it's been unhealthy in the past. And so I wanted to give it a try. And I did a lot of start and stops since I think 2017, because we got married in 2017. So I kind of started it before our wedding. And it's been a very much an up and down. I did it for a little bit. I lost some weight. I stopped it. But I really just got onto it hardcore, strict in June of 2019, the very beginning of June. And I haven't looked back, and it's been great. So.
Yeah, it's been a change, for me as well. I didn't really need to lose weight, but again, I had, kind of a belly. I was, never turned down a carb in my life. So it was, when I started seeing what she was doing, it, and it's, I'm not one to make food all the time. So it was kind of like, well, what are we doing for dinner tonight?
He was kind of by default eating what I was eating anyway. So I'm like, here's some extra for you.
So
yeah.
Yes, I am spoiled. Yes, she's a very good cook, and and even this change of lifestyle and eating, it's again, it's if you stick with it, you're not feeling like you're hungry or not satisfied by not having sweets, and we've had so many different things we've tried, and now just for instance, our favorite thing right now is we've been doing ice cream. We bought an ice cream maker, and we were buying the little keto ice creams. It's $6-7 a pint. Those things are expensive. So
delicious, but expensive.
So we started making our own ice cream, and she's cranking them out by the quart now, and it's really fun, and the ice cream's amazing. And that's just one thing. If you stick to it. Sometimes I'll be working away, and all of a sudden she brings in my plate of food for dinner, and it's I love green beans. That's like one of my favorite things, and a steak or a pork chop or something like that. And again, at least for me, I do have my splurge days, with my son who comes over, and then we just both eat like we're
a gallon of goldfish.
Yeah, we'll just
crackers.
We'll just totally go sideways on it,
And I just shake my head at them.
But I feel so much better when I get back on the keto part of it. I feel like, I could wake up better in the morning. I could go to bed, feeling better. But when I don't do that, I feel pretty not good, you know, and
Well, let me take you back even farther. Like, let me start with, let's take it way back. When I was a kid, I have always had crazy rashes on my arms, legs, like as long as I can remember. Crazy rashes. I was sick all the time. I I had my tonsils out when I was like 4 or 5 years old, like super young, because I mean that's how often I got infections and things like that and inflamed tonsils in that short a period of time that I've been on Earth, to the point where I actually went surgery to get them removed, which was a crazy, horrifying experience at that age. I still remember the pain, like the aftermath at 4 or 5 years old. I still remember. But that asthma, I had asthma like crazy. I got bronchitis all the time. I never got chicken pox, which is weird. I remember seeing all my classmates like drop like flies with chicken pox, but I never got chicken pox, but I was always sick. And I'm trying to think of what else. But yeah, mainly the rashes. I visited so many doctors.
I mean, she would get boxes of, creams from, China and different places that
Right.
were, she would get these crazy rashes, and we didn't know if they were,
Yeah.
food allergies or what. Or
Well, I mean, back when I was a kid, I was prescribed everything under the sun that you can imagine. All kinds of topical things, pills, whatever. Everything made it worse. Nobody had an explanation for it. They just said it was eczema and blah, blah. No, it was all just a Band-Aid, and even the Band-Aids, like that were the creams and ointments, did not work. And so I think it was, I probably in my mid-20s. Oh, and then I did, like you said, I did find a cream finally, probably when I was 19, that was like at this Chinese medicine shop in Torrance, California, which is like Little Asia, that my mom took me to. And there was this one cream that worked. It was amazing. But again, it's a Band-Aid. So I was buying these creams, like I would buy the store out of these creams. And every time I had an outbreak, I would just cover myself. So probably in my early 20s, it probably happened when I was out of the creams and I was having an outbreak and I was in complete pain. So I went searching on the internet, and I was searching for, rashes, blah, blah, blah. And at some point I stumbled upon a website that said things that are caused by diet, could be causing these things. And it's like, whoa, that was a light bulb, because I never, ever, ever thought that maybe something I'm eating is causing this. Nor did any doctor that I saw ask me what I was eating. Mm-hmm. And it's like this whole other thing opened up in my brain. Like, could it be that easy? So it listed off these normal, typical allergens, which are wheat/gluten, eggs, dairy, soy, nuts, things like that. So I decided to kind of maybe diagnose myself. So I just went and decided, I picked gluten and wheat as the first thing, and I just eliminated it for a week, and all of a sudden everything just went away. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is probably, I stumbled upon something. And so at the same, so I eliminated gluten for a little bit, and again, it's very, that's hard to eliminate that. Like in America, that's a major food group. I mean, the food pyramid, we are told that our nutritional guidelines
revolves around
for this
starch.
country is this effed up food pyramid, with the very bottom being you need to eat like 6 to 12 servings of carbs, starch, and breads and pastas and things like that today, which is mind-blowing. And then this amount of fats and things like that, and totally backwards. First of all, you have to flip that pyramid upside down, but we'll get back to that. So, where was I going with this? So, I have a whole backstory that I have to, tell you about.
So then when were you had a test?
Yes. So,
and then,
okay. And also around the same time, actually that's when I started working. We met at work. And so I worked for this new company. We met each other. And I started to see this doctor, and a whole other issue that I've always had growing up was attention issues. So Okay, mister, I lose my keys everywhere.
I'm surprised she's paying attention this long.
Shut up. This is the guy that loses his keys, like, oh, I just had him on me. He can't even keep his wallet on him for a long period of time. So stop. Stop it. So, okay, so basically concentration issues. And so I had gone to the doctor. Somebody had suggested to me that maybe you have ADD. I went to the doctor, took a test and everything. Yeah, I had ADD, and I got prescribed medication for it. Around the same time, my friend that we worked with also, Wendy, she suggested, she was kind of just talking out loud. She's like, well, maybe you have celiac disease. And I had never even heard of celiac disease at the time, so I looked it up, and it's basically an autoimmune disorder where when you eat gluten, your body reacts by destroying your small intestine. And there's no cure for it. But when your small intestine is all destroyed, and it can't absorb nutrients that you eat from food. So nutrient deficiencies basically will manifest in all kinds of symptoms, like skin disorders or breathing disorders, hair loss, everything. And so that's why it's so hard to diagnose celiac disease. So I highly doubt if I had went to my doctor and said, hey, I think I have celiac disease, can you test me for this? I very highly doubt, that any doctor would have ever said, hey, you know what, I think that maybe we should test you for celiac disease. Never would have happened, although it would have cured up a lot of stuff back in the day if they had known about this.
And her hair loss too. I mean, it was a point where her hair was super thin.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see just scalp, and it was getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
Where I was kind of worried, like, oh man, she's gonna need to have like wigs and stuff soon.
People asked me like, when I would always have my hair up because it was so short and falling out. Whenever I would occasionally have it down, people would be like, oh, did you cut your hair? I hadn't cut my hair in months, and that's how bad it was. And I would just say, oh, yeah, I did. And it was embarrassing.
But when she started and got on this other, just eating trend, I mean, it was noticeably different. I mean, she takes a lot of vitamins and stuff like that too, which helps. But just the hair was like thickening up. It was coming back. It was getting fuller.
And it's long. It's crazy now.
Her skin was clearing up. Like I never saw rashes, on her anymore. So that was it was neat to see. And again, like you can go on keto for different reasons. Obviously, a lot of people do it now for weight loss. Even though I'm on it, I don't need to lose a lot of weight, but I feel like I feel better. And again, I'm off and on, I'll have a little bit of playtime on the weekends and stuff like that, but for the most part during the week we're very regimented on what we're eating during the week. But yeah, I mean it's a great way to go. You really start looking into what is in the foods, and you start really looking at the labels and going,
wow, I can't, a label detective.
I can't pronounce half of these words, and what is that?
Why would you eat it? Why would you put it in your body?
So it's really an eye opener, just in that sense.
And it's funny too, when we first found this diet out about my dad, he starts describing it to us, and the first thing I'm thinking, and this is how brainwashed we are in this society, I'm like, all of that fat can't be good for you. That's going to be high cholesterol, and that's going to cause heart attacks and stuff like that. Lo and behold, the more I started to really research, and I'm a reader, once I get interested in a subject, like even if we're just at breakfast and we bring up something like, oh, what is this? Let me see. I have the internet. I have information at my fingertips. So I just dove headfirst into this, and I just started, and the more I read about it, it's not just about this weight loss diet, like fad diet. It's not a fad diet at all. It's just going back to our roots, going back to what our ancestors ate. It's, just mainly protein, high quality, fatty protein. Fat's not the enemy. Let me say that. Fat is not the enemy. The enemy is sugar. And let's even talk about just like carbs, like bread or pasta. Because sugar is obviously glucose molecule, a monosaccharide. Bread the complex carbs are basically glucose molecules, a whole bunch of glucose molecules strung together in a chain. When we eat it, it breaks down the exact same way as sugar. It turns into sugar in our blood. I forget, I think it's 1 teaspoon, oh gosh, now don't quote me on this. But basically like 1 gram of carbs or 1 gram of glucose equals 4 teaspoons of sugar in our blood, or something like that. I'll have to come back to that. I can correct myself there.
But since we're on sugar, and I'm like, I have a sweet tooth, and Good and Plenty is like my candy of choice and all that stuff. But I have to take a break on that because it is bad for you. I mean, sugar's kind of technically a poison.
It is.
And with the sweet tooth now, like I said, we're making ice cream now, and we're using different sweeteners. But I mean, you can definitely get your sweets in. She's baking all the time. We're doing cookies. We're doing the mug cakes and the ice cream, and all kinds of great stuff for desserts and stuff like that. So I mean, don't be scared. Like, hey, I can't have sugar and I can't have sweets, because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, stevia, just the little soda drinks. Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but it's. I'd rather pay more than having to go to the doctor and all that. I haven't been to the doctor and I don't even know how long. So
right, and and like you said, and he's very lean, obviously. And everyone's like, oh, he doesn't need to go low carb. He doesn't need to go keto. He's so skinny. There's such a thing as skinny fat, and actually, I used to be skinny fat when I was at the peak of my, because like I said, I've been on and off gluten once I got diagnosed with celiac disease, it was like a death sentence. I almost didn't want to know that I had it. It was easier to think I just had a mild gluten intolerance, but to say that, no, you have celiac disease, you can't eat it ever. I unfortunately, which is totally backwards, just kind of rebelled against it and went into denial for a few years, actually. And I would kind of go gluten-free for a while, and then I would just not care. And people would be like, are you supposed to eat that? Are you allowed to eat that? I don't care. F it. I don't care. And I suffered tremendously from it. So that, combined with the ADD medication I was on at the time, and which also made me crave alcohol a lot. So I was drinking a lot, and then of course the ADD meds made me not hungry, but when I did want to eat, I would just eat crappy fast food and things like that.
It was like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I
could literally tell if she had taken her medicine or not taken her medicine. It was so pronounced. It was just like, wow. It was mood shifts and all this stuff, so it was crazy.
I couldn't sleep a lot. I had muscle aches like crazy. Like in the morning, I felt like I was an 80-year-old woman, like hobbling around. I felt horrible for years, even after I got my celiac disease diagnosis. And I was so skinny. I was so skinny. Everyone said, you look so great. Wow, you look awesome. But at the same time, when my hair is falling out and all that, and I was covered in rashes. But yeah, I was skinny like crazy. And I thought, hey, that was the one good thing. We're in my warped mind at the time where I'm like, well, at least I'm skinny. I've always wanted to be this skinny, But I could barely make it up the stairs at work without being out of breath. So there is such a thing as skinny fat. And I was, despite the fact that I was skinny, I was so unhealthy during that period of time. Really, really bad. So I finally, right around before our wedding, and Rue wants to get into it too, the baby. Right before our wedding, I knew I was jeopardizing our relationship too. We were always arguing. It was because it was a constant moody thing with me, and then he would retaliate. So there came a point where I said, it has to be either my ADD meds or my relationship, because I can't have both. And so I quit the meds cold turkey, which was very difficult because they are stimulants. So there was a period of time where it was probably a good week where I was just so tired and I felt like I was going to die. And I put on like probably 30 pounds in a month or two. It was like that. Because all of a sudden my appetite was back up and all that. But then I really wanted to be healthy. So I was really, I was eating what I thought was really healthy. I was eating tons of raw veggies and carrots and things like that, and lots of hummus. I remember I ate a lot of hummus and just everything that I thought would be good. Even like those stupid fat-free gummies that are, it was in HR's office, our HR office, where tons of candy is, but like, I'm not going to go for the chocolate. I'm going to go for these like Welch's gummy candies, which is just pure sugar. So I really didn't understand, and I put on so much weight, and I felt so uncomfortable in my own skin. I'm like, okay, well, I'm feeling better mentally, but I feel like I'm trapped in my own body now. I hated being at that weight, and I didn't fit in any of my old clothes anymore, any of my little skinny little clothes, and yeah. So there was that, and that's around the time when, you know, my dad was on this diet, and so I kind of juggled back and forth with it for a while. I did it pretty well, and I lost some weight into where we got married, and I looked pretty okay in my dress, I feel like. But then right after that, I dropped the ball, and we had so much leftover wedding cake, and it was delicious wedding cake. And it was in our fridge.
It was gluten-free.
It was gluten-free wedding cake, but I gorged myself on that shit. It was so good.
There was sugar, obviously.
Yeah, obviously sugar. It wasn't a keto-friendly cake. So a month after we got married, we packed up our stuff, and we moved across country here to North Carolina. So along the way, I'm like, well, this is kind of like our honeymoon. So I just threw caution to the wind. All along the way, you know, it's like, I want to experience all of this eating, you know, like barbecues. We stopped here and
fried this.
Yeah,
fried that.
We stopped in Oklahoma City. We stopped in Memphis. We stopped in Nashville. It's like, I want to enjoy myself. So by the time we actually moved in here, I was probably the highest weight I've ever been in my life. And I guess I had fun, but was it worth it? No. There was a picture of me right after we moved in here when your dad came to visit, and we went to see the like a Chinese lantern festival at the local, one of the gardens by Charlotte. And that picture of you and I together was like, I looked so big. I've never, and it was like a wake-up call. And it stemmed up all of these old feelings about weight that I hadn't had in years because I was so unhealthy and skinny. But, you know, back when I used to be such a gym rat, and I used to do every fad diet that I heard of because I was obsessed with weight. And that scared me. It scared me to see me. I didn't even want to step on the scale. So from that point, we moved here in 2017, July 2017. So from that point until June 2019, I yo-yoed. I would get on keto, and I knew what to do. I knew how it made me feel. I know that if I just stuck to it, I could slip into ketosis. I would feel good, but then something would always, like, somebody would come and visit us, and I would want to. It's like, it's my vacation now, blah, 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 you know? So.
But you got to stick to it. You got to stick to it if you're going to do it, or else you just, then it snowballs out of control, and then it takes you a while to get back into it. And
I think the last straw was in May of 2019 when his brother and sister-in-law came to visit, and we just partied. We went crazy. Like, we drank a lot. Over the course of a few days, we went to Asheville. I drank a lot. And at some point, my immune system totally crashed on me, and I got so sick. And it was right after that time. Plus, I still felt fat. I still didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. So right after they left, and then our anniversary was May 19th, so I still had a little fun there. We went out to eat in a nice place, had our dessert and all that. But the beginning of June, I said, okay, this is it. I'm done with bullshitting around and I'm ready. And it's the mindset. It's a mindset you have to get into. And you have to be prepared. And he's talking about all of these treats and things like that you can have on keto. But first, before any of that can begin, you need to transition yourself. You need to stop alcohol. You need to stop any kind of no like almond flour cookie treats or whatever, or keto ice cream or fake sweetened or like erythritol or whatever, or alternative sugars type of thing. You need to just go clean for, I would say, a month, even longer if you can. And dairy's a good thing to cut too, just to let your body completely heal. And also it's a big thing with celiacs too. A lot of celiacs are intolerant with dairy, but they find it's not necessarily lactose intolerance. They find that if you are completely gluten-free and cut dairy for maybe a month or two, and you slowly reintroduce it, you might not have a problem with it. So, or if you do, then you might just be lactose intolerant. But there's a good chance that you just need to heal your gut so it can handle dairy. But I was so strict for a good, 2 months, I think. I cut dairy, I cut alcohol. We go to social situations like wine bars and things. I'm just gonna have my water. And yeah, it was just basically meat and low carb veggies. That's it.
So we're gonna go over some more stuff on our next videos. Again, if you watch this channel, we've got a bunch of different stuff going on. We've got projects going on. We've got boat stuff going on. Hoping to get on the lake tomorrow if the weather clears up. But Rika's got some great stuff that she's doing with keto and recipes that she's coming up with. So she's getting her website together, so we'll have some stuff that's going to be on there soon. You can check out mine, themechanical.com. There's a few things on there right now, as well as some of the products that we buy for keto and just the lifestyle of doing clean eating.
Oh, and if you're looking for a good documentary, watch The Magic Pill, which I believe is on Netflix. And when my dad and my stepmom came to visit us in, when was that, September, and I was well into keto, and my stepmom actually had just started dabbling in it, and she was actually feeling really good about it, lost 8 pounds, and she was excited. And so I showed them this documentary, and Chris actually caught the tail end of it, and that's what really kind of opened his eyes too. Just watch it. It's great. And then I taught him, some keto tricks, like how to actually have a little fun after you get transitioned and you're in ketosis, and then you can actually have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have some cool stuff coming up. We've got a lot of stuff on the back burner that we're gonna show you guys. We'll try to keep these videos coming every week. Just depends on the schedule. It's been crazy busy starting off this 2020, so I've been trying to get what we can. Just got a drone in today.
Ooh,
so
cool.
Took it for its first flight today, so I got to figure out that, and maybe we can get some cool shots going. But thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We're gonna do some more of these videos, and if you're into the keto, or if you're learning about it, or if you just want to know about how to take care of yourself, then watch these videos. Yeah. And we'll see you guys soon.
And we're hoping to maybe do different topics every time.
It's not gonna be the same. We'll mix it up.
Let's just tune in and listen to a husband and wife chat with each other.
Yeah. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.